in the United States. I've had a great week out here doing some interesting cars. I've been in a plug-in Prius and a Cadillac. The Cadillac was quite luxurious, nowhere near the quality of the Jag though. Did have a bit more legroom than the iPace in the back, but it certainly didn't have the performance. Yes, it had a turbo, but it really took a while to kick in. Anyway, nothing really compared to the iPace, and I'm really looking forward to driving my car again. So when I get back on the early hours of Sunday morning, I've set the timer on the car, so it should allow me to use the remote app to that's the wake up timer, so I should be clear on that, because there's multiple timers you can set on the car. There's preconditioning and there's departure, etc. But when you leave the car switched off for any length of time, it goes into sleep mode and you can't connect it to it with the remote app. And what you have to do is set a wake up timer in the remote app to tell the car to wake up, so you can then control it with the remote application. Very straightforward. So that's what I've done. I've set it so it'll be awake when I land, and then as I go into customs and immigration, I'm going to hopefully set the climate control so it'll be nice and warm when I get to the car. I suspect that's going to do a similar thing to what happened on the way down, in that I probably will have the problem where the GOM will be incorrect, because it'll think it's consuming a lot of power because it is to run the climate control, but without going anywhere. Okay, let's go and find this car of mine. Looks like it's still got the 110 marks, even though it's woken up. It was a bit scary this morning when it said no charging information, but it looks like it's okay now. It's been warming up nicely, so hopefully when I get to it, we'll be able to just drive straight off. There she is. Okay, let's see what we've got here. So it's showing 46%, 107 miles, which is actually slightly better than I expected. So we've had about 5 miles phantom drain in the time we've been away. It's preconditioned. 170 miles to get home. Let's see if we can do that. We'll start her up. It is lovely and toasty and warm in here actually. It's probably a bit too warm, but never mind. Anyway, let's set a route. We're going to go home. Let's see what we get. Let's recognise it's me. Let's go to Peterborough. Start. Ooh, what was that? Something to be able to download, and I missed it. I was too quick. I think that was an update. So that's 101 miles. We've got 107 miles of range. I think I might just stop on route. I'll plan that in a second. So what just popped up very quickly when I was looking was the software update. So I've just gone back into software updates to have a look, and yep, indeed there is 19A ready for me to download. So I'm letting that download now. It says it won't affect driving, so I think it won't affect driving until I actually try and install it. But that's all good, very, very good. Anyway, we're going to get a show on the road now and see how we get on. Oh, I'm warm this morning. The air conditioning may need to go down a bit actually. It's on there. I think I'm going the right way now. It would help if I'd looked to the sign on the side of the wall saying exit. So we stopped at Torrington, currently got 49 miles an hour. Yeah, 49 miles an hour. little bit later, we're on our way back to the car. Should be fairly straightforward now to get going, get home. So 30 minutes of charging, and we'll see what range we get for that. But yeah, it was a right faff getting the Ecotricity to start up charging this time, as it seems to be always. I think the trick is not to plug it in before you've got the charge established. I tend to plug it in first and then think, oops, I shouldn't have done that. And this time I had to lock and unlock the car to get it to work before I could plug it in and get it charging. But it's all charging now. So let's see how we go. Even sure you can read that with this light, but it says 31 minutes of charging, and went out to 47%, so that should be more than enough to get us home. So I'll have to give this car a pretty good charge when we get back, not charge, because I'm due to head off again, not tomorrow but the day after, for quite a long drive, past Heathrow again, so see how that works out. Another really nice drive. Anyway, I said I was going to have a look and see what was happened to the update, so let's have a look. So as you can see, we've actually got S19A. If I check for updates, it probably says no more updates available. Yeah, software's up to date. And if I look here, we've got no software available. So the only thing I can see which seems to have changed on the InControl Touch Pro system is on that navigation where you're searching for EV charging points. It looks like they've taken off all the old list of charging points they used to have, which used to include things like Tesla, CHAdeMO, things which are totally irrelevant to the Jaguar, and only now include the CCS and Type 2 ports. They also have Type 1 and Type 1 combo, but obviously that can be used in the States for charging the variant of the Jaguar out there, the iPace out there. Anyway, it's good so far. I'll see if I find anything else and I'll let you know. Another long journey tomorrow morning. I'm off to Fleet in Hampshire for work from Peterborough. So that should be doable just with the one charge on the way back, but the GOM did go down a bit yesterday. I was probably driving it a bit like a Jag, because it is a Jaguar after all. Good morning. It's a bright and early morning today. I'm off to Fleet in Hampshire, as I said. One strange thing last night is that my car was just showing that the window was open, so it's been in the garage all night, so let's have a look and see what's really happening there. Okay, well, can't obviously see any windows open, but that's not to say there aren't. Let's just squeeze in here as usual. Sorry about the darkness. Let's turn the light on. Okay, so yeah, I'm not sure why the app's saying there's a window open, because I can't see one. Oh well, never mind. There we go. Okay, so 213 miles, 99%. That's where we left it last night, so it hasn't lost any overnight, which you wouldn't expect. Now I think I said I miscalculated the phantom drain the other day, because I didn't actually allow for the fact that I turned the climate on. Now, when I actually came back into the country and switched the climate on, it was still showing exactly the same as when I'd left it. So I think that's actually what was the phantom drain, down at 110 down 112 down to 110 before it went to sleep, and then it lost a little bit more when it did the climate. Anyway, let's check these windows. Actually, might need to power on before we can do that. Oh, there was a little bit of movement on that window. So yeah, that was right. It was slightly open, ever so tiny amount of open on that window. Some traffic incidents en route. Looking good. Right. Now, one thing I do want to check before I get too far. Yeah, this my EV panel hasn't reloaded itself again. This seems to be a problem on the new build, that it doesn't always load that up, and it's also turning vehicle creep off, which is not what we want. So let's change that to park, put it back on vehicle creep. Very annoying that. to remember that. We've got 212 miles of range, that should be plenty enough to get there. Let's see. So we've got 205 miles of range now. It says it's 117 miles to destination, so we're obviously going to have to charge at some point today. I'll be interested to see how quickly this mileage goes down. I'm driving on comfort mode, I've got creep on. And some people don't like creep, and I've certainly seen quite a lot on the Facebook group about people not wanting to use creep, getting used to the fact that the car rolls back, but it doesn't roll back very far. I just find it very odd, the roll back on this. I know you can put your foot really hard on the brake to stop it rolling, and it's not supposed to roll back on a slope. But I certainly found it did quite a bit, and I was finding it quite disconcerting until I got creep on. But I did drive back quite a way yesterday without creep on because I hadn't realised that you turned it off with this software update. So yeah, interesting. Apparently it's 3 degrees out here at the moment, so it's a bit cold, a bit slippery, potentially. I'm not surprised by that. Sun's coming out, blue skies, it's going to be a nice day for a drive. Okay, so I've got 130 miles on the gasometer at the moment. I had 114 miles remaining on the journey when I started at 200 miles range on the gasometer. I've got 64 miles remaining now, which in my maths means I have done 50 miles of driving and lost 70 miles of range, which is not brilliant, but it's least predictable. So I'm thinking, if I've got 128 miles range left and I've got 61 miles to go, can I cope with that one? Yep, we did. We're pretty okay. Even if we are, because I think the mileage has now corrected itself, so it's actually getting more accurate. Let's see how it goes in the next mile or so. Now this is not a criticism of Jaguar, but it's something I've also thought about for the Tesla on autopilot. The lane assist keeps you fairly central in the lane, but it would actually be quite nice to be able to tweak it for this sort of situation where you're in traffic. Now, some countries actually have a law where you have to allow access for emergency vehicles down the centre of a 2-lane road when it's clogged like it is now, and by moving over to the right hand side or the left hand side of the lane respectively. And if we actually had a tweaking option on the steering system, that would be quite good, so you could kind of push it over to one side of the lane. Maybe if I constantly steer to one side of the lane, it should accept that's what I want to do. It'd also stop the motorcycles beeping at me because they think I'm too far over to the left in the lane. So we just dropped below 100 miles on the gasometer. We've got 34 miles to go, which means we've done 70 miles for 100 miles of range, which is actually, sorry, 80 miles for 100 miles of range, which isn't too bad really, I guess. I'd like the gasometer to be more accurate, so basically that means I'm getting on this trip around about 170 miles for a full tank. That's disappointing. I mean, the weather has been quite cold. It's warmed up now, and I think we're getting slightly better efficiency. Certainly, we were sort of in the 48 kilowatt hours per 100 miles before this trip, and at the moment it's showing 40.6 for the whole trip range. But I don't think I reset that. So let's have a look at this eco-data panel on this A to B trip thing. So yeah, so we're getting 37 on this particular journey, and on the previous journey we got 42.9. So yeah, it's definitely got better in this last bit. And I know it's fairly stop-start at the moment when we go around the M25, but I think generally better than it was. I need some training, I think, on how to be economic driving. I wonder if there's anybody on the forum who knows how to drive economically. Certainly a guy called Chewy seems to be the expert. Maybe we can see if we can get him on the video at some point. Chewy, if you're watching, give me a note on the forums. The good news is this slow crawl in M25 traffic is not using much power up at all. We've still got that 98 miles, we've done a few more. So I've made it to my destination, 68 miles left on the guessometer. So we're doing the maths. We started, well, at 200 miles of guessometer range, we had 114 miles to go. So we've done, on the guessometer, 132 miles. So yeah, there's a slight difference there. We'll do the maths for you. But a nice journey, enjoyed that. M25 was a bit sluggish, but the cruise control helped with that a lot. Yeah, so at the moment quite happy. We'll have to charge before we go home. So I've just had a really nice sandwich and a cup of coffee at the Runnymede Hotel while I've been charging on the Polar charger. Feel a bit guilty holding the charger for 45 minutes, which is what I needed to do, but I've got it up to enough range now to get home. It was adding about 55% charge in an hour, it said, so I've got it up to 70% now, so that's plenty enough to get home. And yeah, not too bad at all. And it was much nicer, more relaxing stop than it would have been at a service station. Very nice. Quality of the food was excellent, so highly recommended. Right, I've got it to 74%. Having looked for this, that's quite good. That moved quite quickly. Not bad. Go down here and let me unplug. Nope, I'll have to unlock it. I always think when it's stopped charging, it ought to unlock, but yeah, it doesn't. I like that holder, it's a lot neater than the ones on the electricity chargers. And let's see if I can actually put this on the right way round today, after all the faffing I did the other day. There we go. So in the time I actually walked back from the restaurant, we got up to 150 miles of range, which is good, 74%. More than enough to get home. So I've made it home, 39 miles remaining on the clock and 21%.
So yeah, used a bit more than the GOM suggested at the start, but I'm home and I'm happy to be home. Now I've mentioned this before, but I haven't really been able to get a decent video of it. This is how I line up to get it back into my garage with those landing lights, so to speak. And as I come backwards, we just keep straight. Now what I do need to do here, because otherwise I'll hit them, is wind in the wing mirrors. So you can see that in this light, but we're just sneaking past the entrance, and we're clear. And we do have to get very close into this back piece here. Scary close. Always looks like we're going to hit it. You actually see the cover move because of the wind. Actually, let's turn it off, then you can be able to hear me because it's rather noisy. Yeah, we actually see the cover move, but that's fine, we're in. As you can see, it's pretty precision parking.